going on, everybody? Happy Monday to you all. If it is Monday that you're listening to us,
It could be Tuesday.
Could be Tuesday. Could be for all the people who just listened to the Reality Steve interview. That's right. Reality Steve is our guest tomorrow on the Hot Goss Bachelor episode.
Yeah, there's no episode to recap.
No episode of the recap. I'll be honest, I don't know if we're going to keep these Tuesday episodes when things aren't on to talk about Bachelor Hot Goss. I don't know. But we have Reality Steve on tomorrow. Make sure to tune in for that. Wild conversation. Yeah.
I feel my heart's going faster just thinking about it.
It's something. It's something. In fact, we just recorded it. And so here we are doing this intro for this episode, if you must know. Chrissy, how are you otherwise, other than trying to kind of mentally digest what just occurred with Reality Steve?
I'm good. Getting back adjusted to LA. What are you doing? What are you keeping busy with?
Getting even better at roller skating.
Have you been to any restaurants yet, by the way?
Some outside ones.
I went to a restaurant.
Yeah, it was
kind of wild.
I had dinner by myself at a restaurant. I sat at a table by myself outside. You know, I was like 3 tables away from anyone else.
I just went to Monterey and I did the same thing.
It was a nice little date night with myself. I quite enjoyed it, to be honest. It was something different.
Love yourself.
Great episode today. Fantastic callers. We always appreciate you guys sending in your stories and sharing it with the world. For those of you who have a relationship going on, maybe there's a couple. You know, we haven't had a couple on.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You know, maybe is your boyfriend who you've been dating for a month willing to
have the conversation
with us? I don't know. Maybe you should check it out. Send in your questions at asknick@castmedia.com, cast with a K. And share your stories. It's the lifeblood of our show, as you know. Don't forget to send in your reviews on iTunes, only if it's 5 stars. And if there's nothing else, I say we just get right to our fantastic callers. And again, check us out tomorrow for Reality Steve and the one and only Chris Kattan on Wednesday. Fantastic.
Head bopping
Chris Kattan, legendary SNL actor, comedian, very funny guy, and friend. Proud to say, and friend.
And if you watch it on the video, there might be a special
Chris Kattan doing Chris Kattan things. Let's just get to it.
Okay.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy question.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
I'm Anne, and I'm 32.
Hi, Anne. How can I help?
Okay, so I have been in a wonderful open relationship for the last few years, actually getting married in a few months.
Congratulations.
But my question, thank you. My question is not really about that. So it's about a friend of mine who is a dear friend who I've known for almost 15 years. And when we first met, we were friends with benefits off and on for several years. And then I got into a relationship, monogamous relationship. So we maintained a friendship, a really good friendship. And then about 5 years ago, we just had one weekend together. We hooked up. And since then, we've still stayed really close friends. And recently, we've just kind of started crossing that line again. We're talking about, getting together again, sharing those experiences. Okay. The tricky part, the part that I have a question about is I had my first orgasm when I was 24.
Okay.
So not for a long time, which is not uncommon at all with women. And so this time that him and I used to be, friends with benefits involved, I never had an orgasm. And so I always faked it, as a lot of women do, just out of, I didn't even know what an orgasm felt like.
Sure.
So I wanted to, have a good experience. Everything felt great. So, I figured good enough, I'm going to fake it. So I've never gotten off with this person. And now that we're talking about getting together again, I'm just not really sure how to navigate that. I don't want to fake it anymore. I don't even know if I really could at this point. And I think I'm pretty nervous because a lot of what he talks about, what he wants out of the experience is getting me off. And, he's saying a lot of, I can't wait to get you off again, all this stuff. So I kind of feel like I'm lying by omission. And I'm not really sure how to navigate that going forward,
Sure.
if I should say anything.
So
or not.
just so I understand, and the people listening at home understand, you are in a happy, committed, open relationship. You are about to get married to this person, and it sounds like your future husband and fiance, is it a man or is it a man or a woman?
It's a man.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your future husband, he's cool with all this.
Yeah. Very supportive.
Yeah. And so I can only assume, for the few people I know in open relationships, they're really good at communication with their partners and openness. Right.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm wondering, why are you having such a hard time being open with this other person? I don't know too much about open relationships, but I don't know why you're spending so much energy wondering what you should do about this thing, especially that you have this, marriage coming up and this open relationship. Again, I don't know the answers of open relationship, but I would assume that, like, you can do your thing, you can step out, you can have relationships, and I'm sure there's various rules, but the bulk of your energy should go towards the actual relationship that you're in. So I guess my answer, your short answer to your question is, like, yeah, you should be honest with him. I mean, you're right. He should, it's how many years later he should listen, like, all you're going to hurt potentially is his ego. And if he is the type of guy who can't possibly understand the possibility that when he had sex with a woman who was much younger, she faked an orgasm, part of which is because she didn't in herself totally know what an orgasm was. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I remember, when I had sex when I was younger, and you're just like, your two kids, you're just like, did you have an orgasm? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, are you sure? Or did you just make a lot of noises? And like, it felt good. I don't know, I mean, that's just part of life. And that's, as you get older, you just recognize that's the reality. You see enough of movies, like sitcoms that talk about the idea of faking orgasms, and guys think they're all that, and et cetera, et cetera. And so if this guy isn't mature enough to handle the truth that maybe when you guys had sex before that you weren't getting off the way you're getting off now, then I don't know if he's really worth your time to have this another relationship with, or what I'm saying? It just seems like a lot of wasted energy. And if you still want to do it, then I'm curious as to why you're interested in having. It's like it's like, to be honest, it seems like, and we do this with ourselves, we get wrapped up in some sort of drama that really has no impact on our actual immediate life. And we jump into these drama situations to, I don't know, because we're bored, or we like the distraction about something else. Because to me, it's just like, all right, either hook up with this guy or don't hook up with this guy. And if you do, like, if you don't tell him, also, like, who cares? Because this is just going to be like a temporary thing, or, like, this is not your main relationship. I just don't know what, there's really no wrong or right answer. Cause it's kind of like, he knows you're married, right? Or getting married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, like, who gives a shit what he thinks? I mean, this is about you.
Yeah. I guess it's a friendship that I've had for so long, and somebody I really, really care about and have a strong emotional bond with.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I think women a lot of the time assume that men are, I guess, too sensitive to be told something like that. I mean, I've talked to so many girlfriends who have gone through similar things, or, they've been faking it for years because they just don't know how to even broach that topic.
Totally.
And there's such an expectation. Not only are you supposed to get off, but you're supposed to get off really fast. And
I mean,
so many women just assume that.
Yeah, not to make this kind of a bigger picture thing, and we've talked about this a lot on this podcast. Listen, it's not women's responsibility to train men to be good men or attentive men, but it's, in a relationship of any kind, we need to hold each other accountable, and we need to be able to have tough and honest conversations in any relationship, any friendship, romantic or otherwise. So if this guy is truly the friend that you say he is, yeah, this could be a gift you're giving him. He should be like, men need to be more open and honest with the possibility that they're not the sexual dynamos that they all like to think they are. And yeah, sometimes women, at the risk of hurting the sensitive guy's feelings, just like shoot them straight. Because otherwise we just keep lying to each other and ourselves. And so, you have this like recipe for guys thinking they're getting women off, and women like telling the guys they're getting them off, and everyone's just like, living this lie. No one's getting off. Right? Well, he's probably getting off, but, so be the friend. Be the friend. I mean, he can't be that sensitive. I mean, if he is that sensitive that it hurts his feelings, but hey, listen, newsflash. When we were 24, I didn't really know what an orgasm was. Certainly not what I is now. But also, God, it's been so long. I'm guessing he fucks differently. I bet he's had a lot of other women in between. He's
That's a good point.
You have no idea what he's like. So have a conversation with him. And you know what? I tell you what, if you do hurt his feelings, then you definitely needed to have that conversation with him, because he needs to wake up and he needs to mature. And he needs to hear it from somebody. And what better person to hear it from than someone who is a good friend, he's been romantically involved with, someone he doesn't have to worry about getting married to because she's getting married to someone else. Like there's a lot of ways for him to not take this personally. But also, like, just because you didn't get off then doesn't mean you won't get off now. Who doesn't fucking love sustainable footwear? I know I do.
I love sustainable footwear. It's so sustainable.
Rothy is kicking ass in that department. If you like cute, wonderful shoes, flats, Rothy has them for you. They have a ton of wonderful styles. Again, they're made with plastic.
Yeah.
Repurposed from plastic water bottles and marine plastic. I don't even know what that is, but you're saving the environment. You're looking hot doing it. You're super comfortable.
Cute styles.
Very easy to clean. You throw them in your washing machine.
Oh, that's the coolest part, is that you can wash them in your washing machine.
I have a ton of women friends who have them. They love them. I just like giving them as gifts. Here's some Rothy's.
But they also make bags too. It's not just shoes. They also make bags.
They make bags too? I didn't even know that.
I'm a purse dork, so I like it.
God, you guys are so lucky.
We're so lucky.
Rothy has kept over 50 million single-use plastic bottles out of landfills and transformed them into their signature threads, which is then knit into beautiful, sustainable products. So if you want to look hot, have great footwear, bags, you're in luck. Check out Rothy's. That's rothys.com/VIALL. ROTHYS.com/VIALL. Style and sustainability meet to create your new favorites. Head to rothys.com/VIALL today. Listen, anytime you want to complete the perfect outfit or style, man or woman, socks really can make or break it. They really can.
They can.
And sometimes you want to have some fun with your socks. You want to be a little playful. And either way, BOMBAS Socks has you covered. They're wonderful, great designs, an amazing fabric. That's the most important part. Lightweight poly cotton blend, which means no matter how hard you're working, your feet will stay cool, dry, and comfortable, never sweaty. So again, you look hot, you feel great. It's like a nice hug, but on your foot.
Yeah, and they have these active ones now.
I love a good foot hug.
So if you're running or hiking or cycling, now they have active socks.
Ooh, so even when you're not looking stylish,
and you're just being active, you could still be stylish.
You could still be stylish. Did you know that socks are the #1 most requested item in the homeless shelters?
I did know that.
I did not know that. I did not. BOMBAS socks were created to change that. For every pair you buy, BOMBAS donates a pair to someone in need. So, hey, win, 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 win. Go to bombasSocks.com/VIALL today and get 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/VIALL for 20% off your socks. BOMBAS. BOMBAS.com/VIALL.
I really like that perspective on how it could be a useful thing to hear, because I think that's true. Just encouraging like, oh, do this, it works. And then, if it doesn't, and then he's bringing that to somebody else, that doesn't do anyone any good. I guess I have some guilt about lying or about not being honest about what was happening before. So maybe I'm worried more about that than about hurting his feelings.
Again, it was just so long ago. We have created an environment in our society between men and women that we lie to each other about this stuff because it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And we just got to break through that barrier of being more open and honest. Did you orgasm? Nope, I didn't this time. Okay, well, we'll try again next time. Oh, you don't have an orgasm when you have sex? Okay, and through that honesty, sometimes you maybe realize, well, maybe we're just not compatible having sex,
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't want to have that awkward conversation, you just want to like leave the relationship, that's fine too.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to go down this path, be honest with them. And if you don't, you don't have to, that's fine too. But if you're bothered by the potential lie, then, I don't think there's a lot of downside here. I think there's a lot of upside.
Yeah.
And it could be a gift you're giving them. But don't make any more assumptions about how he might interpret it or whatnot. I just think, if like I said, if he handles it badly, that's a big, then you definitely needed to tell him, because then he really, it's like, did you really think that wasn't a possibility that women at 24 years old, like, might not have realized what
an orgasm was?
Yeah.
How to fake it?
And even if you did lie knowing that you didn't have one, hey, listen, I just didn't want to hurt your feelings. And I just thought, I don't know. And if he handles it very immaturely, then you just be like, as a friend, you need to not do this to other women you date because you sound like a dick. It's not all about you,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think my communication wasn't so good back then. And being in this open relationship has just made that go leaps and bounds. So that makes it a lot less.
Don't be so hard on yourself about the fact that you weren't able to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Well, most people aren't.
Yeah.
But it's good that you're open to trying, and it's important for guys to be good at hearing this without like being so offended about their dick skills, like some people just, I don't,
dick skills.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if no one tells you that you're not doing it right, you just keep doing it thinking you're doing it right.
Oh, that's really
and you're
good
different
point.
than other women. There might be plenty of women who actually did get off, and this was 6 years ago. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Kind of practice what you preach in your current relationship to your ancillary relationships that you have,
Take that honesty outside. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it.
Okay.
All right.
That's great.
Well, and
Thank you
congratulations
so
on the upcoming marriage. Sounds wild. I do have,
Thank you.
Cool. I am curious. It sounds like you guys plan on keeping this openness when you get married.
Absolutely. Yeah, probably always. I can't imagine now going back. It's just been really great.
Good for you guys. Yeah. But my only advice to you, being someone who doesn't know much about it, is have the same type of healthy relationships in these kind of side relationships as you do in your current one. Otherwise, like that's so weird to like, well, I'm going to have a really healthy relationship in my marriage, but my side pieces, they're going to be potentially toxic.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck. Congratulations.
Thanks, Nick.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
All right.
Right. Bye. How's it going?
Hey, it's going pretty well. Thanks.
Great. What's your name? I'm great. What's your name?
I'm Stacy and I'm 38.
Hi, Stacy. How can I help?
Hi. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me today. I wrote because I recently had a pretty uncomfortable situation happen with my mom. And I know that on your podcast, you've recently talked about racial injustices and bringing light to that, which I really appreciate. And so this is one of those situations. the other day I went for a walk with my husband. I'm married almost years. And we each brought a daughter to the marriage. And my stepdaughter is half African American. And he told me on our walk that when our younger daughter was with my mom, she showed my mom a picture of a boy she thought was cute on social media. And my mom's response was, "You can't date a black boy."
But she's half black?
No, it was my daughter. So my daughter is the younger one.
Okay.
And so she isn't. Her stepsister is.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So she didn't tell me. She didn't tell my husband. And she kind of didn't know what to say to my mom. So I guess she told her stepsister, who is half black. Sure. And she, I guess they were both obviously really taken aback, I guess, by it. It's not a philosophy that we live by. And so she talked to her dad, my stepdaughter, and so he brought it to me, and we were like, because your first reaction is you're frustrated, you're maybe a little bit angry. But we said, let's take this opportunity to talk to her and maybe try to bring some enlightenment, maybe talk about being the change that needs to happen. Sure. And so we did. And before this, I was a little bit nervous because I kept thinking, oh, should I say something before she comes over? Because she always comes over for dinner. But I thought, no, I won't, because then I think she would build her defenses. And I figured that, like most people, when you're confronted with something is wrong, most people's reaction is to be defensive. Mm-hmm. So we sat outside after dinner and brought it up. So here's the situation. And she was defensive.
Did she deny it?
Said, she said, well, it was a joke, which I could have guessed she would have said that. And then
I'm assuming, said, well, that's not a funny joke. And I don't want you to joke.
It's not a joke.
Yeah.
Right. And I said, well, what exactly she said, it's not like I said, you can't date a black boy. And I said, well, what did you say? And I said, you can't date a black boy. And I'm like, yep, that's pretty much the same thing, except you're trying to make it, light, and it's not. So
at best case scenario, it was a racially insensitive joke. Also, it wasn't a joke, but you're right. So anyways, right. Yeah, and she knew, right? Like she just felt probably cornered and as you say, defensive. Here she is as a guest at your house, and she feels like these two people are coming at her, and so she's wants to be called a racist right now, even when they say racist things or racially insensitive things. So where are we at now?
Well, that was kind of a response too. It's like, well, I guess you can't say anything nowadays, and it's like,
not if it's racist.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can, but then you need to be held accountable.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So I said, we wanted to take this opportunity to talk to you. Whatever is ingrained in you, I know you're coming from a generation where you may not even understand that the things that are in your mind or the things that you say are wrong, but we just want to bring some light to that and maybe stand up to people, whether it's sexist or homophobic or racist. I mean, you shouldn't do it. Maybe open your eyes to that. And
did she apologize?
No. So she kind of left. And then I called her later and she said, I'm just really upset that my daughter didn't talk to her, that she went, to
how old is your daughter?
13.
Okay. What'd you say to that?
I said, well, that's a whole different issue, but yeah, I want to encourage my girls to have a voice, and I want them to be able to stand up, and that's something that she'll work on, but it's hard at 13 to know what to say, especially to someone that's, an authority figure or whatever. I mean, but she did say something.
I mean, I hate to point out the obvious too, because I'm assuming she knows this and you know this, and this is her grandma saying this to her, right?
Right.
Right. So it's just like, well, wait. So Do you want your granddaughter to respect what you say? You know, so as your grandmother, when you say things like that, she thinks it's coming from an authority figure, someone she wants to learn from and respect and look up to. And so you said something to her that made her feel uncomfortable, right? And is that how you want her to think? Do you want me to tell my daughter to not listen to grandma? Because grandma tells insensitive jokes. And if you want her to confide in you, like, well, then don't say things that are racially insensitive. Don't gaslight my daughter because, you feel bad or you feel guilty or you feel defensive by what you said. And if you want to be someone that she comes to when she's feeling uncomfortable, then you need to be careful what you say, because I don't want you parenting my daughter in any way if you're going to cross certain boundaries. Kind of reminds me of a time when different topic, but my great grandmother was she became a Jehovah's Witness, right? I grew up very Catholic, right? My mom, obviously, we grew up very Catholic. My mom was very protective of our religion, and I'm not here to criticize Catholicism over Jehovah's Witness. I'm just simply saying that, I vividly remember a time where my great grandma was like talking to one of my sisters about becoming a Jehovah's Witness, and my mom came upon this conversation and was not having it. And it was just like, hey, you might be her great grandmother and you might, but like, you do not get to overstep your boundaries of, if you want to talk to her about this stuff, you have to come to me, the mother, and that's the thing, she's her grandmother. She's not her mom. And, if you're going to tell her a joke, you're expecting a 13-year-old, how old is she? 60-some-year-old woman is, you expect a 13-year-old to understand your sense of humor. Come on, and so, you should remind her that she's not the 13-year-old in this relationship. Because right now it sounds like the 13-year-old was more mature than the 60-year-old or however old she is or the grandmother. Well, people, we're staying at home. We're lying on couches. We're watching Netflix. And what a no better time to make sure you are looking good on that couch with an amazing Article piece of furniture. So maybe it's a chair, maybe it's a couch, maybe it's a coffee table. I don't know. But Article has you covered. I have an Article couch. I love it. Get compliments from all the wonderful people coming over. It's modern. It's modern furniture at a really great price. And what's the best part about Article, it's super easy to shop online. They deliver it right to your door. If by some miracle you aren't obsessed with it, you can change it and get a different one. They come and pick it up for you. Like the whole process is super easy. So yeah, make your home an even more comfortable comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's already a comfort zone. Make it more comfortable. With Article, make it your sanctuary. They're here to help. Save up to 30% over traditional retail prices. Fast, affordable shipping is available across the US and Canada and is free on orders over $999. Article is offering our listeners $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more. Go to article.com/VIALL and the discount will be automatically applied at checkout. That's article.com/VIALL to get $50 off your first purchase of $100 or more.
That's exactly what I feel like she's doing. And so like I talk to her every day and I didn't talk to her all weekend. And so usually Mondays comes over because I like to cook, and so this call is convenient. I'm not really sure how to bring up the conversation again, because that's not the end, but I'm trying to be graceful, but I also want to enlighten her, educate her on, I would love for her to be a better person, and I don't know.
Well, you can't
make people do that.
Change people overnight. You're right. Right. I think here, let's focus on what you can control. Right.
Right.
Shower her with love. She's still your mom. You can still love her even if she has racially insensitive points of view. So make her feel loved when you can. She didn't apologize. She should apologize. Right. She should apologize to you for that joke. She should acknowledge it wasn't a joke. She's an adult. You can hold her accountable. Right. hey, listen, it bugs me. Like, I'm not trying to cast you as a certain type of person. I'm not calling you racist, but what you did wasn't okay with me. And I still am uncomfortable right now because it doesn't seem like you've really acknowledged it. What you've done is make excuses. You've tried to blame her for not understanding your joke. You tried to blame her for not coming to you first. I haven't heard any type of apology. I've just heard excuses. That makes me feel uncomfortable that you're unwilling to have this conversation. I love you, and say it softer. I'm saying it probably a little bit more direct, but she needs to, because you're right. If I'm you, I would feel uncomfortable of letting my kids hang out with grandma alone at the risk of grandma sharing some of her own points of view that don't align with yours. And if she's not willing to acknowledge what she did was wrong, because like, listen, grandma, I'm afraid that you're going to tell a different joke in the future. Like, if your excuse is everything you say that is offensive is a joke, well, then maybe you just need new jokes, and I don't want you telling jokes around my kids. And so I think you can hold family members accountable, even if they're your parents, especially as an adult, to own it and apologize. And if she doesn't, then set some boundaries.
Yeah.
I love you, Mom, but until I need to know that you understand, because I need to protect my family and my kids. I need to protect my stepdaughter, who might feel like an outsider. And as much as you are my mom right now, my priority is my immediate family. And, get on board or you're going to miss the train.
Yeah. That's funny you bring that up too, because that was the next thing I was going to bring up. Is it's hurtful not just to my daughter but my stepdaughter, because then she's like, well, what do you think of me? What do you think of Mom?
Yeah.
Like, that's
I say
crazy.
this as not having my family of my own, but I've heard too many stories of friends, and even in my family, right now we're talking a lot about like silence, right? People not saying anything.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I can only assume that if your stepdaughter sees grandma coming along and acting like she got a little bit of a lecture, but now, because what grandma's going to want to do is just pretend nothing happened. She's just going to try to ignore it and go about things. And I think your stepdaughter needs to see some real acknowledgement and apologize to her one-on-one or the family. And if she can't do it, then she might not be able to come, because nothing's worse than like feeling like you get victimized by a family member, or they said something or something that offends you, or maybe they did something and other people seem to be okay with it and they keep showing up and everyone acts like nothing's wrong. And that really can build up into some major resentment, in the family. And sometimes we have to make choices. We have to make tough choices in family settings, and just side with the right side, So the right side is obviously, you're on the right side, but you got to hold mom accountable, because you're at the risk of really alienating your daughters, both your stepdaughter and your daughter.
So I guess the biggest question I have is if you guys have any idea of maybe an outside way that I could talk to her with it being, I would love for it to be constructive. I mean, people who think that way, their world is they're missing out on so much. So I don't know if there's a way I could even talk to
I'm only guessing here. Again, I'm not a family counselor or therapist, but I think you both have to somehow figure out a way to be mutually really expressive of the love you have for your mom, but at the same time, hold them accountable.
Yeah.
Right.
You told somebody the other day, I think you told them, why don't you guys sit down and watch something that's educational about this topic that can actually help understand.
Yeah. If this was a joke, Mom, then I need you to be open to understanding it's what you really hurt me. You really hurt my daughter. You hurt my family. And it was a joke. Quite honestly, if that's what you think, that's just as bad, and it hurts my feelings, and you're my mom and I love you so much. Are you willing to,
make it right?
Not even make it, just to learn. Again, don't make her feel like she has to she has to do her penance, or she has to like, you're going to punish her. This is about growth. This is about going forward. But you need to know that she's willing to acknowledge what happened, because otherwise, if she's not willing to acknowledge it, you're not going to believe that she's willing to have growth. Yeah, don't make her feel like you're going to punish her, or, your reason for maybe not having her over tonight or in future times is because she's giving you no reason to think that she really understands the problem. And quite frankly, you don't totally trust her being alone with your daughters, because she might say some racist shit.
Right. Well, awesome. Yeah, I was pretty proud to, like I told my 13-year-old, I'm going to talk to grandma when I did, because that's not okay. And,
I think they need to hear from grandma that grandma's sorry and grandma wants to get better. And if grandma can't apologize, I don't know if grandma should come over. It's just, but hey, it's your house. I don't
right.
Yeah, I've had, various, not about this topic, but when someone in the family is hurt by someone else in the family, even if it's acknowledged but dismissed, people notice that shit.
Yeah, it's not good.
And it can make from real bad family tension. And nip that in the bud.
True.
So
maybe I'll just tell her that you should probably apologize, or else this tension's it's not going away. It's there.
Yeah.
It's the elephant in the room.
I mean, listen, I love my RIP. I love my grandma, and wonderful woman of God. And she has said some shit where we're like, grandma, you can't say that. And it definitely didn't come like,
Right.
she's like, well, that's just what we all called each other. And then like, well, fine.
Right.
That was 60 years ago, grandma, and it was a different situation. It wasn't like, she just was like saying some weird shit. And we're just like, we told her, and she did not like it at first, but she came around, and we different times. I get it. She definitely grew up in a different generation, but
I'd like to think, we can all evolve and hopefully, grow our whole lives.
Yeah, you're right. Your mom's still alive, and if your mom's still alive, she can still learn, and she can still become a better person. And if we're not growing, we are dying. Remind grandma of that. Well,
yeah, that's so
a little
true.
morbid, but so all right. Well, thank you for calling. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, you guys.
All right.
Thanks, Stacey.
Take care.
All right, babe.
Bye.
How's it going?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
Good. Lauren, and I'm 33.
Hi, Lauren, 33. How can I help?
So long story short, as I said in my email, 3 years ago, my husband ended up having an affair with a coworker of his at the time. At that time, we had been married 6 years. We had just had our first baby. She was 2.5 months old when it happened. But there's a lot of context that goes into kind of why it happened. We had a pretty tumultuous dating history, up and down, back and forth, lots of breaking up, getting back together. We finally did the thing, got engaged, got married, thinking he just had a lot of issues with commitment. We come from conservative backgrounds. When you get married, you stay married. And at our young age, that's kind of scary. So he didn't want to get into something and, feel stuck. So we did it, got married. I was 24. He was 26 when we got married. So we brought all of that baggage into our marriage. And there was just a lot of fighting, a lot of anger and bitterness on my end, because I just hadn't really worked through the heartbreak that I experienced when we were dating. Because it was mostly him that would break it off just because he was afraid of the commitment.
You gotta do me a favor. You got to do me a favor. You got to stop making excuses for him when you tell the story. I don't know why he cheated or did this stuff, but
yeah, it's not. I guess it's just context.
Yeah, no. What it is an excuse you've told yourself to make yourself feel better about his actions. But continue.
Yes, that's probably true.
Yeah,
to make myself feel better.
True.
So we had a really tough, marriage.
Yep.
It was not easy. It was hard. It was really hard on both of us. And our pattern was he would I would get angry and he would retreat. And the more he retreated, the more angry I would get. The more angry I would get, the more he would retreat. That was our pattern. And so he was pretty just broken about where our relationship was at. And he had this coworker that was also in a marriage that she was not happy in.
Okay. And that was still 3 years ago.
That was 3 years ago.
Where are we now?
So their affair lasted 4 months. He ended it when she was moving away. So they kind of were at a crossroads, like they weren't going to be able to see each other. So they either had to be together and leave their spouses or end it. And he chose to end it and didn't tell me until almost 2 years later when they had gotten back together at that point. He broke it off with her the first time around with the intent of always like knowing he was going to tell me. That was why he broke it off, because he wanted to be honest with me and hope that I would forgive him and stay with him. So fast forward 2 years and he finally tells me. And at that point, they're back together, had been talking for a couple months and were planning to leave their spouses for each other at that point. And I think I just was able to see what was really going on, that he was lost and broken and dead inside and making this choice that he thought would fulfill him. And I knew that wasn't going to be the case. And I didn't want him to throw our life away, especially because we had a daughter, for something that I knew wouldn't work anyway. And I just really felt compassion in my heart towards him and wanted to forgive him and stay together, because despite what happened, my husband is a good person and he's a great father. He has a lot of really great qualities, and I just saw that as something that could have been the turning point in our relationship, and it has been. So we spent the last year going to therapy, working really hard on our marriage to make it different than it had ever been. And it's now something we're both really proud of. I don't think the point of marriage is happiness, but hopefully if you're in a healthy marriage, that's a byproduct of.
What is the point?
Well, we're Christians, so we definitely think marriage was
pain and suffering.
Suffering. It can be.
I grew up Catholic, we're big on suffering.
Right. Right. So someone to live life with, someone to build a family with, and someone to do, whatever you feel like God has called you to do in life.
So again, that's the question. Where are we now? What's your question? Are you?
Yeah. So my husband and I are really good.
Okay.
My question is I don't know. I just always felt compelled to forgive him. And I never struggled with anger towards him. I think because I had been angry for so long, it just what came out instead was sadness towards him. I really struggle with my anger towards the woman that he had the affair with.
You're just projecting on her. I mean, that anger, you chose not to be angry with your husband for the sake of your marriage and for yourself. I mean, listen, I'm glad things seem to be happy with her husband now. As you tell your story, I feel sadness for you, and I feel like you've been hurt a lot over the years by your husband, quite frankly. And for your own self-preservation, you've made a shit ton of excuses for him and justified his actions. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not saying he's a bad father. He's probably, again, good people do bad things all the time, right? We all do. We've all made
that's
mistakes.
Exactly what yeah.
Fine. But
he's a good person who did a really horrible thing.
But you have a right to be happy too. You have a right not to have the burden of this relationship fall totally on you. For every mistake he makes, you figure out some sort of justifiable excuse that you can accept and live with, and then start displacing the frustration. This woman's, I hope, not in your life anymore. This anger you feel towards someone who's not involved, it's quite silly that you feel anything towards her because she's not in your life anymore. It makes sense why you do, but this anger really is towards him. she has her own shit, and maybe her husband and her are dealing with some shit. I don't know. It's kind of convenient that you've been able to understand your husband's point of view and feel sadness for him and make all these excuses of why he's afraid of commitment. And yet it's probably so easy for you to be angry at her and be like, well, she probably knew and she did this and she manipulated him. I don't know what your thoughts are. My guess is you've probably had all of those thoughts, and it's probably really easy to assume that she's not a great person, that she's selfish and that she's doing all. Your husband's selfish. I don't mean to drop this bomb on you, but he really only cares, at least in the past, about his own immediate needs. Maybe she is too. I don't know. Yeah. But you have been way too selfless. He has been way too selfish, and you have given him permission to do that. Again, if it sounds like hopefully you are guys in a good place, and that's great, and you can forgive and you can move on. But it sounds like you're still dealing with some shit about that, and that's okay. But
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Until
I
you
don't
address it.
with,
yeah. Are you guys still seeing a therapist?
Well, we were until COVID.
I understand, virtual, you can do this with a therapist.
Yeah, we did a couple virtual, but we just had a baby. So
okay. No, I understand.
We haven't gone back
Listen,
yet.
I really appreciate you calling.
But we plan to.
Yeah, I really appreciate you calling, and this is, and sharing, but your road to recovery isn't over yet. And you still have, and that's great that things are better now, but you have some trust issues is my guess. You are angry at him. You just don't want to say it. And you're putting it on her. He hurt you.
I think absolutely. I mean, I have some self-awareness about it that I'm scared to be angry at him.
Yeah.
There's some things that I think what I struggle with is there are things outside of just the affair happening that she did that my husband didn't have control over.
I want to say something to you. It was not her responsibility in any way to protect your relationship.
Right. So I just have to.
Doesn't matter what. It's not. She could be a shitty person, fine, but it's not in any way her responsibility to protect your relationship. It was your husband's and yours. He chose not to protect your relationship. She has nothing to do with it. If I'm dating a girl and she decides to fuck another dude, I can be mad at him and my ego, but it's not his fucking responsibility. And even if he knows, he could be, it means he's a shitty guy, but it's not his responsibility to protect my relationship with my girlfriend or wife. It wasn't hers. Mm-hmm. So all the energy and anger you have towards her is just kind of wasted. And you're just projecting it away from your husband because you're too afraid to acknowledge that you have anger towards him. But you won't fully heal, and you won't fully get over this until you address this anger you have towards your husband and then get through it. And you need to really feel for him that he needs to acknowledge to you his selfish behavior.
Yeah, and I mean, he has completely owned it.
Okay, good.
100%. I think that's why we're I don't think I could be with him if he didn't.
And you have a right to still, from time to time, express some anger you have towards him. But I know, and he tells me that. Yeah, I'm happy you guys are still working towards it.
It scares me.
Yeah, I'm happy you guys are still working towards it. But I think I'm a big believer in and I've said this before, be open to the possibility of this not working out. And not because you should leave, but that gives you some freedom to really see things clear. Because then you can really know that, am I forgiving him and getting through this because I'm willing to? Because I'm willing to leave if I need to. But we did work it out. You're right. Because if there is no option for you to leave, then how do you really know of whether you're able to forgive him? Because you're doing it because you've decided that you can't. Does that make sense? I don't even know if it makes sense to me. You need to be open.
It does. I don't think I decided that I couldn't.
I feel like you decided that you couldn't.
I wanted to make.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really believe that. Yeah. I mean, listen, you have incredible patience. He hurt you immensely. no human should be that patient about any relationship. And I don't care if you have a daughter together, you deserve to be treated, with more respect. And it must have been an intense burden that you had to carry. And part of that was because you were unwilling to leave. And a lot of people do that. They get in relationships, they get cheated on, and they don't leave until the other person leaves them, Like they put up with so much shit because they're like, well, just take me back. And like, even though they're being cheated on, they're trying to get the other person who cheated on them back. People do that all the time. And I'm guessing there was a point that you were doing that, but, it's like you're on your way. But still, you're not mad at her. You're mad at him.
Yeah.
It's not her responsibility to protect that relationship. Right. Doesn't matter.
Right.
So even whatever fucked up shit she did, still not her job to protect your relationship. It was his, and he chose not to. Maybe he is now.
So I just have to work through that and figure out how to put my anger to him and not to her. Yeah.
And then hopefully in productive ways through therapy and counseling and with the understanding of giving yourself permission to leave if that's what you deserve. Mm-hmm. And the expectation that he will still be a great father to your daughter. But sometimes consequences, he made his choices and he has to live with the consequences, whatever those are. Mm-hmm. And, listen, I wish you guys the best. I hope that you guys are able to get through this, but.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I have confidence that we will.
Good. But it's going to come through you being really honest with yourself about this. And because being mad at her will not fix anything.
Right. No, I know that. And that's why I called in with that question. Because it's driving me crazy. Like, I know it's not healthy. I know it's not, there's no point in being mad at her. It just, I think it comes with when something like that happens. I don't know. It's like stubbing your toe in a door and yelling at the door. Right. Stupid door. Yeah. That's what it's like, yelling at her. Yeah. Yeah.
If you just weren't there, door.
It's a good one.
So
no, it's true. It's, with.
But we do that. We do that a lot. You're not the only one who wants. I've literally yelled at the door for stubbing my toe. So it's okay. Right. Forgive yourself. Right. All right.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right, my pleasure. Thank you, and good luck. I wish you the best.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
How's it going?
Good, man. My name's Steve. I'm 28.
Hi, Steve.
And currently in Milwaukee.
Nice.
Yeah, like you. I'm from Wisconsin. Then moved to LA, but since quarantine happened, I've been back home. So
okay.
Yeah. So anyways, something I wanted to ask you about. So I when I was 21, I met this girl, and at the time I really didn't want a relationship, and I don't know, we hung out a few times and like hooked up a little bit, but never like really fully, like, I don't know, like did anything or like, I don't know. So it fizzled out, and then recently, like, I reconnected with her over like the gram. She just DM'd me one day, and I was like, "Oh, sure, let's talk." And like we reconnected and hung out, and it was dope. The first week was like really, really great, and like week 2 was solid too. Like great communication, and we were hanging out like almost every day. And then week 3 to 4 kind of came around, and like the communication like basically just ended almost, and like I just was barely getting replies, and it just was like bugging me. So I reached out and was like, hey, like no matter what you're going through, like I don't know what you're going through, no matter what it is, like it's cool. Like I mean, like I understand, like if like you're just like if this is done, but like I don't want it to be done because I really like you, because I'm pretty much like head over heels for this girl.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like the first girl that I've really liked since my last relationship, which ended a couple years ago. Okay. And
what'd she say?
She was like, hey, like I'm sorry, like like my communication is bad. I'm just going through a lot right now, and no, like like I'm not ready for any relationship right now. Like like basically like no matter who it would be, but I still like I love spending time with you. Like I want to keep seeing you.
She said this to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
where does she live right now?
She lives out Like she's like 10 minutes away from me. So like Brookfield area.
Oh, okay. So she's in Wisconsin, but you still currently live in LA. You're just hanging out at.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of split my time between both just for work. You know.
Gotcha. And have you guys hung out since then? Since you said that?
Yeah. Like, I mean, so we've hung out like a handful of times since then, and it's been cool, and chill, and it's not like weird or anything. But I guess like my question would be like, one of the questions I have is like, would you, wait and see where it goes, or should I keep my options open? I mean, I really like her. I haven't seen anybody else. I've turned down dates. Like,
well, I don't think you should turn down dates right now. She has the right to, be honest with you about, hey, I'm not willing to, I don't want to be in a committed relationship right now. And she gave you kind of a vague, broad brush kind of answer, with anyone, which at first glance, I would say that what that means is she just doesn't want to be in a relationship with you. Now, that's not the case in every situation. And the fact that she said she really enjoys you and wants to hang out with you still might mean that she just sees you more as a friend. I don't know. Or she maybe truly could be going through something. I don't know. Yeah. But the point is that she doesn't want to be in a committed relationship with you right now. And so that means she doesn't have to answer to you. She doesn't have to promise to you that she's not going on other dates, that she's not maybe also on dating apps and doing her thing, or maybe she's not doing anything. She doesn't owe you that answer, right? Because that's what a relationship would look like. Subsequently, stop pretending to be her boyfriend when she doesn't want you to be her boyfriend. We need to hold ourselves and each other accountable for the things that we say. She has the, so you're not doing it vindictively. It's not like, fine, if you don't want to be my girlfriend, I'm going to fuck a bunch of girls and go on dates. Listen, you should treat her as a friend because that's what she wants to be right now. I don't think if you really like her and you really want her to be your girlfriend, then don't make her your friend. Now, I'm not saying don't ever hang out with her. I'm not saying don't spend time with her, but no one's ever convinced someone to be their girlfriend by being their boyfriend without having them be their boyfriend. Because then it's this human nature to take advantage of a situation. If you're going to be so available to her and do all the boyfriend things while giving her the option to basically find something better, she's going to do it. And everyone does that. People do that. It's human nature. So, I'm not saying you have to do anything drastic, but definitely stop saying no to dates for her. If you don't want to go on a date with a girl because you're just not that attracted to her, you're not that interested, fine. But I would challenge yourself, if you are remotely interested in someone, go on the date, and
right on,
and have some fun. And you might, just because she's the first person you've liked since your last relationship, doesn't mean she's the only person you're going to like since your last relationship. She's just the first one. Doesn't make her. The only thing that's special about her right now is that she is the first, but she doesn't, and she could be your woman. She might be the girl. I don't know. But I'm saying just her being the first, it makes it feel like it's special because she's the first, but that's it. And, just tread lightly, be careful about how you act around her. And again, what I'm saying is don't make yourself so available. If you want to be your best friend, be your best friend. But the more you become this kind of guy she's there to go to movies with when she's bored, or to dinner with when she's bored, or the person to talk to when she's bored, but she doesn't have to commit to you in any way, then you become pals and friends or fuck buddies. And it's just going to get more and more complicated. I mean, there's nothing more attractive to men and women than a person who knows what they want. And then and what I'm saying, you're just like, hey, that's cool. I'm glad we talked. I really want to hang out with you too. But I want to make it clear, I do like you and I do want to respect, and I would love to see where this goes. And I totally respect that you don't want to right now. So I don't have an answer, but I can be honest with you. I'm not interested in being your pal, And so, let's just see where it goes and take it slow, but I'm not interested in you being my friend. And so maybe we shouldn't hang out right now. You know, that's okay. And just be super chill and cool about it and super understanding and super, you know, fine. Don't get petty or mean and be like, well, you know, like, does that make sense? You know, handle it in a very confident, mature way of understanding her point of view and understanding where she is and respecting what she wants, but that you still have the right to say what you want too. And that is you want something more with her. And she doesn't. That's fine. So you're going to keep going on dates and maybe you guys check in. Maybe you hang out, you know, maybe she will then realize like, you know, I do want something with you.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's basically where I left it. I just wanted to call in and see like what you thought, you know. I just like was really respectful and I was like, hey, like, I know you need space and like, you got to do whatever you got to do. And maybe now is not the time, you know, and I respect that. Totally cool. But yeah, I mean, that's what I did. And just wanted to hear your take on it though too, and see what you would have done. So.
Yeah, I would be really understanding. It sounds like you're doing it right. You just be understanding, be available, but don't be so available, you know. And don't stop dating other girls. That's for sure. If she feels like you're just waiting around for her, it's kind of an unattractive thing for people.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, you're just waiting around for me. And also that person feels pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, in the opposite, it's like you start dating girls and she catches wind of it and you're like, and she doesn't think you're doing it to spite her. You're just like, I don't know. You said you don't want to date. So what do you want me to do? I think that's great. You know, if you want to check in and say hi, you know, that's fine. Let her know you're there. And if she reaches out to you once in a while, you're super cool. And if you still feel strongly about her, you know, put it out there, but also, you know, fine. Yeah. It's human nature to take advantage of people who are going to just hang around for us. So yeah, listen, long story short, I think you're doing it all great. I'm so, like, listen, this is exciting. You like a girl. That's cool. It's fun to feel something, especially if you haven't felt in a long time. Embrace that, figure out what that is, and then keep going out there and keep doing your thing. And then if this is, you know, not to say meant to be, but if there's a mutual attraction, she'll come around. And if she doesn't, then she just may not be that into you. You know, she might just be saying all the things that she wants to say because she does think you're cool, but she's just not feeling it. And that's okay too. But the best way to make her change her mind is showing you that you're a hot commodity, you know?
Yeah. I recently started doing the dating app thing again, which is like a nightmare, but I know that's where we're at in dating.
You know what? Just try to have a different perspective, man. Yeah. There's always gonna be ups and downs, but you're going to meet some great people along the way. Some of those women might turn into friends. You'll have some bad dates. It's fine, man. Like, just get out there. I think, you know, when it comes to dating, we got to start embracing the fun part about it. Even if that fun part includes like some messy conversations and good stories for our friends.
I mean, I'm down for weird and funny and like just doing it for the sake of the story.
And meeting, you know, and again, like I met a lot of friends through dating apps. And it's just like, hey, you know what? We don't love each other. Great. But you're cool. You know, we do want to hang out and we are both okay with being friends. Yeah. Sometimes you need to have sex first to realize that, but
definitely. Yeah.
Always.
It's like, well, that was fun, but you know, we're good, right? Okay, let's just go to the movies. Just don't be so available to her.
Yeah, I think that's and I just started like not initiating, you know, like always the one, like she would text me and she has texted me, and last text was like maybe 2 days ago. But yeah, I don't know. I just to the point where you're right. Like I can't just keep initiating something which I don't force it. I'm not like texting her a million times and blowing up her phone. I'm just texting her like once a day, maybe.
I mean, you know, and I hate to say play the game, but if she does text you, you know, and maybe you respond the next day. Hey, sorry, I was tied up, but saw your text. Be real vague. Make her wonder if you were on a date. Even if you're like sitting at home doing literally nothing, you know, lotion and tissue in hand.
At that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because then the girl said it at home and is like, that's exactly what happens.
What do you mean?
Torture.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, and then she sees the podcast, and I'm even more fucked. I'm kidding.
Nah, you're fine. She'll find it endearing.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. But yes, it's so counterintuitive sometimes to our brains, and I have a hard time doing it too. I really do. Sometimes just like, well, I just want you to know I'm here.
Here I am.
Here I am. Love me. All right, man. Well, we really appreciate you calling in. Shout out to Milwaukee.
But yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right. I really appreciate it. Thanks for listening. Shout out to our 10%ers out there.
Yeah.
And stay safe.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, buddy. All right. Bye-bye. Well, that's all we have for today. Well, fun. A little bit of variety, some heaviness.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying the questions we're getting. I find them to be relatable and interesting, and I think we all learn a little bit. But I don't know if there's a big takeaway other than
be open. Today's takeaway is definitely be open, be honest, have the honest conversations, even though they're uncomfortable, for sure.
Especially with yourself, and you know, build your circle of people. You know, everyone needs a support system wherever they get it from, and everyone deserves that. And sometimes it just has to be in places that we wouldn't normally think to have it. So other than that, thanks for listening, guys. I always appreciate you taking the time. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes. Those 5 stars, we love them. We need them. We like you to pander us with compliments. Don't forget to send in your questions at asknick@castme.com, cast with a K. Other than that, we will see you tomorrow. As always, thanks for listening.